PANDA stands for Pediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Disorders associated with streptococcal infections. And basically what happens is a child gets a strep infection, and the strep organism embeds itself in the body to try to hide out and thrive. And by the time the child's body recognizes the strep organisms and has an immune response to the strep itself, it also winds up attacking the tissue around it, because one of the defense mechanisms that the strep has is to try to mimic the tissue around it. And so now you have the child's body attacking the strep organism, which is an invader, and also attacking its own cells. And that is why this is a neuroinflammatory response. And you could see things like tremors and tics and things of that nature. There's another related condition I remember hearing about when I was a child, St. Vitus dance, and children moving around. Imagine a child having symptoms like someone who has maybe Parkinson's or MS, right? So if your child has this, you have to have it properly diagnosed. Now, don't get confused. If their titers are high, showing that they had an autoimmune response to strep being in the body, that doesn't mean they have an active strep infection. You treat the active strep infection, and you need to do this with your integrated team, functional medicine doctors. This needs to be taken seriously. And when properly treated, you can wipe out the underlying streptococcal infection and theoretically clear out the PANDAS or the St. Vitus dance or whatever. But here's the thing. By the time we've triggered an auto-inflammatory response in the body, we have to consider some other things. I would strongly recommend that you look at nutrition. You want to look at zinc and magnesium. You want to look at selenium and glutathione, which are first defenses for calming down the immune system, especially if someone has the MTHFR epigenetic polymorphism. You may need to look at some selenium and glutathione. In addition, you want to make sure that you're taking nutrition that is calming to the neuroinflammation. So that would be your omega-3s, EHA, DHA, and EPA. So those are your healthy fatty acids, eating fish or taking a supplement. So you want to check with your pediatrician. You want to check with the child's nutritionist. Make sure you're covering all the big bases for major groups of nutrition, including vitamin D, magnesium, vitamin C. You definitely want to take a look at glutathione and selenium. You definitely want to make sure your child is getting those essential fatty acids, the omega-3s, the DHA, and the EPA, and then calm down the child's environment. We want to soothe the nerves. We want to remove any excess stress, because the child's immune system, if they have PANDAS, has been attacking its own nervous system. And so we need your child to heal. And last but not least, we have to consider the gut-brain axis. What is that? Well, the reality is we have more genetic material in our bodies belonging to the organisms that live inside of us, in our mouth, our nasal passages, our digestive system. We have more genetic material in those organisms than we have in our own body. So if there is some sort of an auto-inflammatory response to something, we want to make sure we set that gut microbiome back on track, and that will help promote health. I hope this explains what PANDAS is. I do not prescribe or recommend any treatment for a medical condition. I'm simply sharing information. I recommend that you see your pediatrician, see a functional medical specialist. You might even want to see a neurologist if you suspect your child has PANDAS, and work with an entire integrated team to come up with a solution to get over the initial infection of the strep, but also any sequelae, any ongoing lingering neuroinflammatory conditions or disruption to the gut microbiome and the gut-brain axis, because it's going to take healing all of that in order to get your baby back on track and healthy again.